My Promaster conversion part 15 finished flooring. Okay, I went with the vinyl flooring, but pretty much stays the principles, at least the principles I use pretty much are standard, unless you're using some type of plywood or something to that effect. So just give you some tips and tricks of how I do it. The first thing you want to do is make sure that your end plank, so on this particular vinyl flooring, this came in 3 sizes. You got the big size is 10 inches, then a 6-inch, and then about a 4-inch planks, and then you kind of rotate as you go along depending upon what type of look you want. But I would suggest when you just first lay it out, lay your planks down. As you see next to the door, I have the largest plank, and it's trimmed out with some aluminum angle right there. So you don't want to, or you want to try to prevent from cutting that last plank. So what I would suggest is take your planks, put your finish piece next to your threshold, and then go off from there and do your thinner cut along your left wall, because on most of these tongue and groove type of planks, you start from the left and move to the right. So that's a tip that I would suggest you use. That way, as you trim along your edge here, then you can lay it out and you'll be pretty close to finishing right there and covering any excess you have, 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch with trim. How I do it is this. Obviously vans aren't perfectly square, so the tip I have for you, you want to try to be obviously as square as possible as you're looking down the van. You obviously don't want to be at an angle, because if you're not square and the walls aren't square, and I follow the contour, this wall isn't exactly straight. That's how I furred it out, because I wanted the bed to be 6 feet going across. So these walls are narrower up front and they bow out as you go, as you can see on that plank right there. So it's really important that you try to get as square as possible, because if you don't, when you start laying your planks out, you'll be at an angle like that as you move along, and then you're gonna, as you come across your wall, you know, you're gonna be like at kind of a wedge shape like that, and you don't want that. So you want to be as square as possible. So the tip I have for you is take some string and take your wheel well right there, put a screw down into your subfloor right down there, pull your string and pull it, and then come up here and pull your string to get a straight line. Then I would suggest after that, a little tip. I left my square over here. Sorry for the jumping around. So then once you have your string down, what you can do is, obviously you're going to start up here in the corner, so you have your string, and then as you have your string pulled, you're going to take your square and you're going to put your square like right along that. And then, if you can imagine, you have your string pulled down here, and then you put your square right next to your string like that, and that's going to give you a pretty square foundation to lay your flooring. So if you can imagine, you have your string pulled with 2 screws, you got it straight right against, you can go right against that wheel well. That's going to give you a straight line, and then once you have your square down, you're going to know, because you're going to adjust the string like this to go right along the square to get it perfectly square. And then you know, and then take a straight edge, draw a line or chalk a line right along that your origin, your point, and then you can go off of that, and by the time you get to the other side, you're going to be pretty close. Your planks are going to be pretty well straight, and obviously that's what you want. Now the last little tip I have as far as laying flooring, you know, you can take your cardboard and scribe. Plenty of videos on scribing, you know, especially things like this in here where you want it to look fairly well. So once you've scribed like this piece here, Well, you can just take it to the other side, flip it over, take it to the other side, and you can use that same, and you take your Sharpie, draw out on your vinyl or whatever type of flooring you have, and then you can save some time like that. So that's pretty much my my tip for you on that. One other tip. If you look up there, I wanted to finish it off at the very end of the van. If you look right up here, I wanted to kind of give it a finished look, not just have the metal showing. And I saved the little D-rings, as you can see, on both sides. Now, how did I bend that? This vinyl is kind of stiff on the edges. Well, a little tip for you is, I got a piece of vinyl right here. So, as you can see, your vinyl here, what you can do is, you can score, let me see if I can show it here, you can score the back of this. And when you score the back, you know, don't cut all the way through like this, but once you score the back, you can actually bend this. As you can see, I'm going to show you a close-up, like this. You can score it on the back and then turn it like if you want a sharp angle, and gives you pretty much of a clean look. You could also have done it there by cutting it like I did. I just showed you a couple examples, but if you score it, you can snap it without breaking the facade of the vinyl and get a pretty sharp edge to finish that off. So little tip for you there. The vinyl, it breaks, you know, pretty. Let me see if I can break a piece. I can't break a piece, but anyway, just a little tip. You can score the back of it, and if you want to do something like that, kind of gives it a nice finished look. So that's all I have for you. My next video, I'm going to show you how I installed the cabinets, and I'm going to almost finish up with that. So I'm going to show you how I did that, and I'll see you on the next one. Stay healthy.